It's a wonderful day today here in Poland, in my studio. There is my Supreme Biker studio. And today I've got a bike for you. Very soon I'm gonna deliver this one to one of my clients. This is the Cannondale Synapse 2019 Disc 105, alloy one. But on this episode I want to focus on why is it almost as good as the carbon one, maybe even better. You know, if you look from the money perspective, it is way better, and here's why. So let's just start by talking about some main features, and then I'm gonna go for the wider camera and show you some details, some close-up. Let's say. So Cannondale Synapse is the endurance bike. Cannondale has been doing this one for years. The first one I got was 2010 in Iceland, alloy one. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So even before the endurance bikes were called endurance bikes, Cannondale had Synapse, and Synapse has been great for years. Why endurance bike and what Synapse does? The endurance bikes has to be more comfortable. So of course the position will be more comfy than on the racing bike like the System 6 or the Super 6 Evo. The geometry is almost the same on the carbon and alloy, so it's almost the same. I'm gonna tell you something about the forks in a minute. But the main features on the Synapse as the endurance bike is the micro suspension. There are several areas of the bike which has to absorb some road buzz, and that's the seat post, that's the seat tube, because the seat post will flex backwards, but the seat tube will be pushed by the seat post forwards. So that's interesting. Put the camera, GoPro camera here, sit on the saddle, and the camera will show you how it flexes. It does work on the alloy as well. Then we have the rear triangle, which has to absorb some vibrations, and the fork. Of course, your tires, your wheels are very important, the handlebars, but we're talking about the frame set that Cannondale make. The engineers have to focus on certain areas there. So all these features, seat post, seat tube, rear triangle, fork, have some micro suspension on carbon bike and the alloy bike. Of course, alloy, like aluminum alloy, will flex less than the carbon, but it is very close to one another. And let me remind you that it is the wheels, the tires, and the seat post that will flex the most, and so the differences between the alloy and carbon will be little. I have lots of experience with Synapse, and I can tell you that for sure. So now let's go closer to the bike. Let's get closer, and I'm gonna explain to you a little bit further. The seat post. It's been already on the racing bike, like the systems, not the System 6, the Super 6 Evo, the Cat 12. That 25.4 diameter of the seat post was taken. So 25.4 is a thin seat post which flexes beautifully. Carbon 105 Synapse and the alloy 105 Synapse will have the same C3 Cannondale C3 alloy seat post, which flexes beautifully. If you upgrade with the carbon, it will be even better, especially with some bend here with the offset. But this one, enough for road bus. Even such a trace like here, no problem for this bike, believe me. So this is great. Then we have this seat tube, which I'm gonna show you here, is called Delta seat tube, but the Delta system is not made for micro suspension. It's made for the stiffness of the bottom bracket shell, because this is the area which you don't want to flex. You want this part to transfer the power from your legs to the rear wheel. So this Delta seat tube has to be really stiff. That's why it's going wider and wider towards the bottom bracket. Okay. Now when we look at the seat tube from this perspective, we'll see that it's thin here, then it's wider, larger, and then it gets thinner once again. At this area, just somewhere like here, between this and this point, right there, this will flex to the front beautifully. I'm telling you, this really works. So both systems are same on the Cannondale Carbon Synapse and the Alloy Synapse. And then we have the SAFE system. You can see the SAFE logo there. It's right here. Okay, and this is the micro suspension. That means we have very thin tubes, and also the shaping of the tubes. You can see this is quite round here, and it gets very thin right there, and it goes round again to the end, towards the end. Same here. Here it's robust because it has to be stiff once again, bottom bracket and the drivetrain. Then again it gets very, very thin, and it's asymmetrical on both sides. And then it goes to the back once again, round, or just more like stronger. But here, this is for flexing. Now, the rear triangle will not give you like 1 centimeter of travel, but it will give you, let's say, a couple of millimeters, plus well over 10 millimeters of the seat post flexing, and this part flexing, and then the tires and the fork, and you get really nice and comfy bike. Okay, so this system is both on the carbon and on the alloy bike. And then let's see the front of the bike, which is the fork, and you see it's quite strong and large here, oversized here, and then it gets thinner and it will bend a little bit to the back, having offset. And now the difference between the alloy bike and the carbon bike is that the carbon fork on the carbon bike will be size specific, so the offset will be size specific, and the tubes, the thickness of the tubes and its shapes is size specific as well. So this is just one fork for all sizes in terms of the offset, as far as I know, but this is also a full carbon fork. So this one, on the alloy bike, we have carbon blades and carbon steerer here inside. But you can see the shaping, and then when we look from here, you will also see, let me do it like this even, you will also see that it bends towards the wheel and then back to the axle. So all the systems are also available on the alloy bike, thus making this bike very, very comfortable. This is very comfortable bike. Now, what the alloy bike doesn't have, we are still comparing 105 versions, carbon versus alloy. The brakes. Here we have the TRP Spire. In my opinion, these are the best mechanical disc brakes available on the market. If you put disco brakes, Kevlar or ceramic pads here, boom, super, super strong. But as for myself, 74 kilograms today rider, this is just enough with 160 millimeters of the rotors, both front and rear. So TRP Spire mechanical, and you don't get those larger shifters thanks to the mechanical system here. So it's also good, but hydraulic ones on the carbon version. And then here we have the through axle, but at the rear there is a quick release. They will most likely upgrade this one in the future, but so far the alloy one has the quick release. Why quick release at the rear and through axle at the front? That's because we have very light, it's not like super light like on the Super 6 Evo, but very light and compliant fork, full carbon fork at the front. It's better to have it with the through axle if there is the disc brakes, because it really makes it stiffer. At the rear we have like closed system, right? It's a triangle, so it's stiffer and it handles better with the forces that create that the disc brake would create. And also one little or not little thing is that here we have external traditional seat post clamp, and on the carbon one we have the hidden one. So we have the internal seat post clamp on the carbon Cannondale. So that's the difference. Now, why is this bike almost as good or even better than the carbon one, it's because of the price. The price of this one is about $1,600. The carbon version, 105 disc brakes, will cost you about 2 times more, because it's about $3,000, right? So there is a huge difference, and we're not talking about the high mode bike, because high mode doesn't even come with the 105 components. It starts with Dura-Ace, I think, and it will be very expensive comparing to these two. This bike, now Cannondale gave us the true weight on the website. This bike weighs 9.9 kilograms in the 56 centimeter size, because I have 54, and with these two things, which are not, believe me, these are not light, it weighs 10 kilograms. So 9.9 for the 56 without those I would say reflective things. I would say it's a true weight. And then the carbon one will be 500 grams lighter. It will be 9.4, so it's about 1 pound difference. But $1,600 versus $3,000 means you can have super duper carbon wheels. I'm not even saying that you should spend like $1,500 for the wheels, but if you buy some nice custom built carbon rims, wheels for, let's say, $600, which you can do now, quality wheels, the bike will be much lighter. But even more importantly, in my opinion, on the endurance bike, the carbon wheels will be also more compliant. But if you consider differences between alloy, carbon, price, there you have it. Carbon wheels would be great, and the bike will still be cheaper than the carbon one. The tires are same on carbon and alloy. Good tires, Vittoria Zafiro 28C, but you can fit 32 on both alloy Synapse and carbon Synapse. There you go. So it's great. Carbon Synapse is Di2 ready. The alloy one isn't, and this is how it looks like, guys. So this is what I think. If you're riding Synapse, let us know, what do you think? What's the difference between carbon and alloy, if you know, if you have experienced that? In my opinion, on those larger wheels, tires with nice 25.4 millimeters diameter of the seat post, it's not that easy to feel the difference actually doing blind test. Let us know. That's it. Cannondale Synapse 2019 105 disc version. See you guys.